Welcome to the next level with Keith, where clarity replaces confusion and simple systems lead to real freedom. Every episode begins with intention, music that centers your mind, lifts your spirit, and prepares you for transformation. This is your space for growth, your place to reset, your moment to rise. Rethinking your thinking, because when you shift your mind, you shift your money. Stack and grow, where small intentional steps turn into lasting wins. Simple strategies, real progress. Your circle, your currency, because your network matters. Mobile money moves, business, income, and empowerment from the device in your pocket. This isn't just talk, it's guidance, it's strategy, it's movement. Welcome to the next level with Keith. Let's begin.
The next level, the next level, the next level, next level with Keith. The next level, the next level, the next level, next level with Keith. You landed here and it's no mistake. You best believe this could be your break. Rub-a-dub-dub, check out the hubs inside. A winning team is here to be your guide. Oh, my friend, you've been looking for a brand new day. I got good news, only a click away. You can click on any hub. You are sure to feel the love. Got some stories in my book. Hope you'll take the time and look. The message in this simple read. Teens, young adults, help them succeed. Scroll on down, got more to say. Go blogs, let's take it away. If you choose not to do a thing that will ever cause me not to win, when you know your worth, no need to beg. Selling with no pressure is more fun. Instead, financial freedom has been calling you. Come join a hub, see what it will do. Come on and dance along with me. We going to the next level with Keith. The next level, the next level, the next level, next level with Keith. The next level, the next level, the next level, next level with Keith. The next level, the next
Yeah, we can take it home. We can take it home. We can take it home. It's all right.
next level with Keith.
Let's get the show rolling here. Thank you.
The next level.
I guess you're loving this right here, huh?
The next level.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. All right. The next level. I usually have it played all the way to the end, but tonight I got so much to talk about. I got so much to say. I'm gonna cut it short. All right. If you want to hear the entire song, check out my last episode and the one prior to that one, and you'll hear the full intro song for my podcast. So again, let me say welcome to the next level with Keith. We're talking about what? May 25th, 2026. So again, welcome to podcast episode 21. Man, time is moving. And guess what, guys? We have come to the end of season 1. This show right here will be the ending of season 1. But I want you to look out for some real surprises coming up next on season 2. I learned some things. I got some personal insights. I got some new ideas I want to spring forth. I got some coaching lessons, some coaching ideas, and what I can maybe add or, just kind of bring to the table. So I won't give too much of it away, but I'm gonna tell you, if you stick and stay, you'll see that it's gonna pay. All right. If you stick and stay, you'll see that it's gonna pay. So coming up on my next episodes, my next season two, you're gonna, I believe, love what you see and love what you're gonna be experiencing. And listen, for those of you, and there's some of you that I paid real close attention to. Some of you from day one have stuck with me. I mean, you have never wavered and you've always commented. And I'm telling you, I am so grateful for that. And when I saw some of the comments that was left and some of the message that you guys sent me, I'm like, wow, yes, there's an impact. But as the title of this podcast says, the next level. I'm always seeking to what? Improve, grow, and go to the next level. All right. Deeper engagement, deeper conversations. All right. More provoking thoughts. All right. Always say provocatives, provocative topics. All right. And more of a challenge because I'm gonna say this, which I think is very important. We're in a season right now where we don't have too much time to be cuddling people's emotions and feelings. We don't have too much time to be doing too much unearthing and too much reminders. We're in a time where we need to make serious, intentional moves. I watch an administration came into power, and I'm telling you, some say it's good, some say it's bad, some have no opinion, but they didn't waste a day to implement what they wanted. They did not waste a day. It was so overwhelming that you wonder, oh my God, is there a day when there's something like a breather or a break? They were attacking every side, every angle. And guess what happened? We felt it because they had an agenda. We all need to have an agenda. I always say, it's just that what is our motive in the end, right? What is the motive in the end? But we have to have an agenda and we have to be able to what? Make the agenda become applicable. We have to actually be intentional about what? Making that become a reality. Putting that into action, in other words. All right. And so this episode kind of give you an idea of where I'm going. And the title really talks about engagement. And I just thought about this question. It came to me randomly. And it's like this: no engagement, but you're quitting. What's up with that, y'all? No engagement, but you're quitting. Now, that's rhetorical, of course. I know you, but many of us fall in that category. All right. And I think it's a very timely subject. I think it's a very important one to look at because, as I always say, we are in a microwave age where we tend to want things rapidly. And not that anything is wrong with wanting things rapidly. It's just that we have to know what needs that attention and what will take time. Now, I mean, this is my 21 show, right? 2021 shows. Uh, and there's many more I believe there is to go because I have a goal in mind that I want to achieve. And I can't just think about this on a overnight. And that's it. It will take time. And I've seen even dealing with you as an audience, how many of you have grown to seemingly trust me more because I've seen the engagement and I've seen how folks have even mentioned things showing their transparency, showing that showing vulnerability in some of their statements, and that's telling me that they're connecting and they also are willing to even share and talk about it. All right. And yes, so this particular segment here, again, I said, I think it's a very important one. And I really want to emphasize, in my next season, the main reason why I put this podcast together. And to be perfectly honest with you, a lot of what I do, I see success offline as most of it started offline. All right. And so I said, you know what? This can be expanded to online as well. All right. Because at the end of the day, my heart is for the masses to see something good. Many things are hidden, is for a particular group of people, type of people, right? But I think what I have is something for the mass. And so as I've started my journey dealing with folks in my sphere of influence, whether it's at my place of work or where I live, the church I go to, I see people directly and I deal with people directly. And I realize that the success I'm having offline, it also can be done online. All right. So the methods may be a little different. And so you learn, you grow, you try different things, you explore, and you find an audience, and you just hope that they will also find you a part of their, I would say, alignment. They will see that there is an alignment there, and they will develop that trust and then engage. Because no engagement, nothing's going to happen, right? We all have to engage after hearing or receiving or whatever we are exposed to. All right. And that's when we see the magic happens. So, folks, are you ready for tonight's segment? Are you relaxed? Are you distracted? Are you undistracted? All right. And my main essence for this show is about the hubs. You hear the song, I talk about the hubs. You feel the love, 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 right? And I'm trying to let you know that you are very important with every single engagement you make on this particular podcast. However, with that said, the idea is that I want you to know that you can miss out so much that I don't want you to miss. All right. I want you to actually maximize what is being presented on the next level with Keith. All right. I don't want you to miss it. And so, therefore, a lot of things coming up in the next season may be quicker revealed to you. He may come to you a little more faster. All right. And like I said, we're in a time where things are happening very, very quickly in government and in all the different sector. And we see how AI is revolutionizing things. We see how things are changing quickly. All right. And we don't have too much time to be, thinking too much and delaying too much and wondering what is happening. We need to engage, all right, and maximize what is in front of you. So again, statement was mentioned, no engagement, but you're quitting. Hmm. All right. So let's look at reality here. So think about, how do people spend 20 years building a career? 20 years, so not even more. 10 years earning degrees. Think about that. Think about it. 10 years earning the degrees. And some take decades learning systems. But why quit a opportunity after 60 to 90 days? Because nothing happened yet. I mean, think about that. People quit 60, 90 days. They give up. What happened? So I'm here to kind of provoke those things because a lot of us, we are in this mold, and sometimes with a little shaking and a little stirring, we can redo some things. We can rethink and maybe realign our outlook as far as what we want to achieve and what it will cost, and be prepared and be willing to what? To pay the price. All right. And or to understand the dynamics of what we are doing, what we're in, or what we're about to embark on, and being realistic about it. All right. That's very important. So here is something to think about. Here's a reality check right here. Research from the US Small Business Administration and Side Hustle Trends studies consistently shows many people abandon business opportunities within the first year. Hmm. Often what? Before momentum has time to build. All right. So research from the US Small Business Administration and Side Hustle Trend studies consistently shows many people abandon business opportunities within the first year, right? Before they see that momentum, before things start to rise, they quit. But you see, it's not because the opportunity failed many times. That's not why, but it's because of lack of engagement. I tell you, a big part of engagement that I come to realize is how much time do I invest or can invest. All right. There are people who are really very busy. They really have that regimen. And sometimes it's the season that you're in now. Some people may be dealing with a elderly parent who needs that consistent care or visitation. Maybe you're the only child, or maybe all the children are out of the state, and maybe you're the only one that's close to your parent, or maybe you're the only one who's financially fit to do certain things for your parent, and you're dealing with your own kids that needs attention. A parent or parents sometimes both parents are going through stuff. They deal with a job, maybe a very demanding job. That's a reality. All right. And some of you may be doing some small courses, and maybe, just maybe, um, you might be doing some of your own personal issues too, because they're folks, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Sometimes the health issues start to surface, things start to happen, and for you it might be a bit, discouraging. So you trying to balance everything and thinking about a side hustle can be very formidable, it can be very daunting, very challenging, and that's the reality. And so oftentimes, folks sometimes we go back in the past and they will resurrect what they believe it will be in the future. In their mind, they're saying, this was 10 years ago, I didn't like it, or 20 years ago, I didn't like it. I don't want to do it again, not knowing that it's not so much you can't do it again, is that the methods have changed. All right. And so the time that it will need, or you think it needs to be addressed. At least spend time to realize, what will the cost be? What will it cost me if I do this particular side hustle or that side hustle? Those are really, I think, the fundamentals of what you really want to get in place. What will it cost me if I begin this journey? Some people may say, well, how about on a weekly basis? How many hours do I have to put in there? And you may hear something that surprises you, right? Because of the nature of what this thing is. And so you think about engagement is where a lot of people they drop the ball, all right? But sometimes they think it's a lot of time that's needed. So not knowing that it's not a lot of time needed, they drop it all together. They don't say, well, okay, it needs small amount of time. Oh, I can do that. They think it's going to require all this time when maybe it doesn't. But let me carry on with this point here. So we talk about engagement. We talk about consistency is another thing. All right. And some do start, but because they lack engagement, they have developed their own ideas of what they think it is and what they think it's not. And then of course they drop that consistency that's needed. Then you have expectations were unrealistic. Some people that I've spoken with over the last, I would say, 2 years, I've heard consistently they say, um, I don't see any money yet. Where is the money? All right, where is the money? And I'm thinking, okay. And then not only that, when the money is not big enough as they thought it should be, they're saying that's all. So some folks lead from where's the money to that's all when there is money. All right. And so it's ironic to me how one can spend so many years, all right, barely getting a raise, barely getting a raise, and then again starting your own thing and see some kind of growth. Might be minimal, but they don't even say, wait a minute here. There is life. There is some kind of hope here. Listen to me. I'm not sure if you've experienced seen a plant that's about to die, right? And then you find a way to nourish that soil, or you did something to the soil. You maybe change the plant location from where it was. Maybe maybe give it more sun or less sun, whatever that plant needs. Less water or more water, and it looks like it's gonna die. All right, but all of a sudden one morning you see like a little life in that thing, a little life, a little leaf. Oh, you're like, wait a minute here. You don't wait to see the plant in full bloom to say, hey, the plant is back to life. You saying by seeing that one small speck of life in that plant, that leaf, you see the house full of plants already. You see the thing growing. You seeing things happening. All right, and that's how we are to see a lot of these things. Now, the reality is that a lot of what's out there is junk, right? And that's the challenge. That's the difficult part of this thing. A lot of what's out there is just plain old junk. Decide, it is designed to what? To get a certain number and move on. And because they know that people might be desperate, and based on the research, all right, based on what they found online, based on what people type in the search bar in Google and other search engine, all right, they say people are looking for this stuff. So folks capitalize on it. But in between the chaos and the bad businesses and the one that are not designed for you to win or to take what you have, in between all those, there are some few really good, strong, important, and honest, I would say realistic and potential opportunities. Just like if you were to um, look at grants. Now, on this network, there is a show that comes on Wednesday, right? It's called Free Money Wednesdays. All right. And that show, yes, someone who actually spend time to research these grants, right? And go on there and tell you the date, the month, sometimes, all right, Sometimes these grants are made for women, single women. They're for entrepreneurs. They're for different categories of people. And you go there, you can eliminate so much of you spending time to look for grant when you can see exactly what's in front of you by just watching and taking notes. All right. So this show right here, I'm taking an approach where the research has been done. All right. So when you hear the word passive, it doesn't mean there's no engagement. It means that it is minimal to the point where you might be surprised, like, wait a minute, it is easier than I thought. It is more reachable than I thought. It is more people friendly than I thought, or user friendly than I thought, or automated than I thought. And for the last 2 months, I spoke to two individuals who were completely surprised when they really understood that, wait a minute, it's like that, check. It's like that, check. It's like that, check. It's like that, check. I'm in. I'm in. So I'm talking about where the rethinking needs to take place. I'm talking about where the rethinking needs to take place. So as we rethink your thinking, as you rethink your thinking on some of these things, you'll find that, wait a minute, I can start a new pathway. I can blaze a new trail. I can make it happen. Rethink your thinking is a powerful thing. Not always easy to do, for sure. And it requires, in most cases, intentionality, a deliberate approach to wanting to really leave from one level to another level. And it starts with our thinking. So let's pause here. All right. So you know the rewards of delay. All right. You worked years before your career became stable. All right. So why expect a new income stream to explode after minimal effort? Would make sense. I'll tell you something. I mentioned earlier that I'm at 2021 episode 21 of the next level with Keith. All right. So think about 21 episodes. I had to make a decision to show up. All right. Every Monday night at 9. All right. I have to be open to learn. I have to be open to improve in different areas and building. And I honestly wanted to have seen some more activities and engagement earlier. I really would have loved that. But I realized that it's not about that always. Sometimes it's just building brick by brick by brick. All right. And it's a process. And then you watch those who have done it before, and they will tell you, listen, it takes a while. And a lot of them are at their 51st episode, their 80th episode, their third season, their fourth season, their fifth season. And they're now seeing things happen to where they're like, wow, you know, music would be a perfect example in my case because some of you know that I do have a music hub on here. All right. And you can go to that hub and you can see my profile. All right. You can say, no, something, I would like someone at my wedding to play. Here's my music hub. You can go there. You may say, you know what? I'm thinking about maybe having someone do some speaking things, some speaking engagement, or some sharing of his experience to my book, right? On that particular hub. All right. And so it's really kind of in your face. But I realize that yes, it's there, but as I connect with you week after week after week, I think that I would call it that relationship gets stronger. And I think that folks start to really get the essence of what I'm trying to do here on this show. And nobody, nobody wants to feel pressured or being sold to or be tricked, to buy and purchase and these things. Listen, I I'm happy for the way I think sometimes because I think I read a scripture in one of my episodes, and the scripture came from Ecclesiastes. And if anyone of you remember that segment that talked about where it said you can do investments in seven things. It said, yeah, even eight things. You can approach opportunities seven, eight different ways. You never know which one will spring up first or they all might spring up. So I've learned to diversify myself. And so although I'm happy with what I do offline, all right, I'm also very deliberate and intentional about seeing things happen online. And one of the reasons why is because I see the benefit of what I get offline and how other people can benefit on a wider scale. On a wider scale. That's kind of the way I look at life. How can more people get access to what I'm experiencing? And I'm very happy, as you can see. I'm a happy camper. All right. I really ever get down or despondent based on who's doing what and who's not doing what, right? That kind of thing. And it's important to know that building takes time, consistency, showing up. It's important. The music that I mentioned to you a while ago, after about 12 years, and I would say more specifically, after the fifth, sixth year, I really was flabbergasted at how many gigs was coming in. I mean, left, right, and center. But what I find that's interesting in my now 11, 12 year, excuse me, of doing that online and folks booking me by Googling and finding my name and connecting with me is that I'm getting a lot of repeat customers. That is to me really interesting because a lot of folks worked with me 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and they would call and ask me, "Are you still doing that thing with the sax?" As if they didn't expect it to be that way. After 8 years, I get calls. "Are you still doing that thing with the saxophone?" And the minute I say yes, they said, "Are you available for this date?" They don't even wait anymore. They want me to come to the event. But it didn't happen overnight. It took some years, it took some time, some grinding. All right. And I remember there are times I'm on the platform and when an event comes in, a potential event comes in, it is also seen by other musicians. They can also bid for that same event. And for a while, I used to see, well, event booked by somebody else, event booked by somebody else. And they showed you on the platform, sorry, event booked by somebody else. Until one time, some years ago, I'm like, could we not have that show on this site, please, where we see who's booked and not booked? Can we just take it off so we don't know who's booked or not? I actually asked, so many years ago, I asked that. All right. Now I feel bad because I'm thinking I'm getting so many bookings. I wonder how the other guys are feeling, seeing booked by somebody else, booked by somebody else, booked by somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So it's time. Time is a very important thing. The beauty is that because of where we are in our world today, where we are in terms of AI, things are rapidly, I would say things are moving rapidly. All right. And what would take 5 years may take 1 year. What would take 1 year may take 6 months. All right. But it also requires heavy engagement or at least the engagement that's necessary. And that's why I stress find out what the find out what that that engagement is, that's needed. Find out what is needed engagement wise. Find out what that is. They say like, oh, I can do this. That's so you know it's palatable and it's durable. Very important. So momentum, of course, we all know requires consistency. That's the law. All right. Momentum requires consistency. Not quitting. All right. Not emotional about it, what's going on, and quitting. And I think that studies on content creation, for example, and digital entrepreneurship show that most podcasts and online creators quit before episode 10. That is interesting. All right. Most podcasts online creators quit before episode 10. That is deep. Now, guess what? Yet creators who stay consistent beyond 20 to 25 episodes dramatically increase discoverability, audience trust, and monetization potential. Now, this is new information to me, all right? But guess what happened? I didn't even know. All I knew is that consistency is important. You can't quit too early. And the reality is that for those of you who are in your 40s, 50s, 60s, we have just about one shot. We have just about one shot. All right. And that one shot is high potential. Once you allow yourself to be guided with the right information, high potential, because Lord knows a lot of us don't have a lot of time. We just don't. So let's look at some practical shifts, how we can approach this right here. So instead of asking, why isn't this working yet? All right. Now, folks, have this ask the question, why isn't this working yet? Ask this question instead. Have I engaged enough for it to work? All right. So rather than asking, why in the world isn't this working? Why am I not seeing the results? Ask this question, just ask yourself this question instead. Have I engaged enough for it to work? So, of course, all that's been happening so far within our lives is always we're stacking. Belief system is stacking up. Our outlook is stacking up. What drives that, right? We're stacking and we're having growth too. But what kind of growth are we having? Growth in lack of confidence, growth in lack of, you know, enthusiasm, growth in lack of inconsistency, growth in doubt, growth in I don't believe it's going to happen, growth in why it's taking too long. We're stacking, we're growing. It goes either left or right, up or down, but something is happening. It doesn't remain stagnant. Something is moving. Or are we growing in what? In our conversation? Are we growing in our questioning? Are we growing in our training? Are we growing in what we post and how we receive posts and what post appeals to us? Are we growing in follow up? I'm telling you, I'm seeing some success in the area of some things I'm doing offline, all right, and some things online. And I don't wait for the individual who I consider to be, uh, um, you call it, my inviter, so to speak, all right, or someone who maybe has more knowledge. I don't wait to engage because I feel that when I do that, it's my advantage. So the person sometimes have the information, but I call and I ask, And I can't tell you how much information I get that the person had all along. I would never voluntarily give it to me. But the minute I ask, the minute I probe, I get a lot of valuable, I mean, valuable information that sometimes save me money and save me time. You will not believe how many of that I've happened to me where by me inquiring and asking, it just works out so much better. All right. So either way you look at it, we're stacking up, and that's the reality of it. All right. So here is the hidden truth. Success rely, success rarely feels explosive, right? Success doesn't always feel like a explosion. Oh my goodness, here it is. It feels sometimes like nothing's really happening, right? It doesn't feel like an explosion in the beginning. It doesn't feel that way. It feels oftentimes repetitive and sometimes even boring and sometimes even a drag. Sometimes it feels mundane, right? But that's a part of what it is. Real strategy is what we're looking at, what we want to implement. All right. So think about what we could do in 1 week as an example. Every week, how about this? Learn one thing, learn something new, connect with one person. Could be your business partner, all right? Could be a mentor, all right? Could be someone that's who you're working with who's actually giving you the information from that point of view of knowing more, understanding more, or directing you to where you need to go. Uh, take one action. So you connect, but then you take action, right? Improve one habit. Maybe rather than spending 5 minutes, spend 10 minutes or 15 minutes and listen. Many people, I believe, may watch my podcast or maybe other podcasts, but the podcast is actually most times over an hour, most times over 1 hour. And tonight, for sure, it's going to be over an hour. And the thing is that when you watch a podcast that you think you like or grab your attention, how much of it do you watch? How much of that podcast do you watch? Because a big part of it is sometimes stay focused on that one thing for a week or a month and really get to see what is happening here. I heard my pastor say this sometimes. If you come to my church as a new person, all right, as a guest, you may like that first message, you may like what's being said, but you said, I want you to come after 3 months, hear me speak on different things, feel me out more, see how I may talk about some things that may rub you the wrong way. You may say, that's not my guy, that's not my pastor. So don't go based on one message. And I've had I've had now 21 episodes, and I'll be curious to know if you were to put all the hours as far as information and sharing, how much would you say you've probably watched or looked at or seen? And some of you have made some really nice comments. You have warmed my heart. Believe me, you have encouraged me. And I'm saying, wow. And I'm wondering, are they really hearing more of what I'm saying? Are they hearing enough? Or maybe I need to, maybe make some changes to I can really impact them even more. All right. And maybe you have been impacted. Maybe you just have your time of when you make your move. Maybe you're taking down notes. Maybe you're doing your own little research. I don't know. I mean, I would love to hear from you though. I mean, because I think that makes it so much more of a family type thing where you connect with me, I connect with you, and I do my best to engage with everyone. It may not be the same day, but I go back and I look and I see, oh, I see a comment here, and I sometimes respond and may ask a question. I may agree with you, but I want to know that I'm there which is important, So yes, so we think about these things that we can do on a weekly trial and see how it pans out. And sometimes by doing something for a week, it can turn into 2 weeks, it can turn into 3 weeks, and now it can become habitual. And some things, habit wise, good to have, good to do, because it really it promotes growth. And at the end of the day, I believe that's where we want to go. All right. So based on this evidence here, research from behavioral psychology shows consistent micro actions build long-term behavioral momentum far more effectively than short bursts of intense motivation. They're not the outburst and the little, you know, exciting moments that does it. All right. Is that consistent micro actions. And so it takes us to what? Where do we get those things from? What encourage those things? What's your circle look like? 'Cause a lot of us, while we feel that we are not where we're supposed to be, or not taking the action that we need to take, is because of our circle, who we see every day, who we talk to every day. I spoke to someone today, and I mentioned to the person that at this point in my life, if I'm talking to someone for 5 minutes and I see where it's a redundant conversation that happened last week, week before, I'm pretty much done. No disrespect, but I'm like, after 5 minutes, time is so valuable, right? After we've gone through the hello, hi, how you doing? How's your mom? How's your mom? How would things, how's your job, or whatever it is? Because you could be building something and the person don't even ask about it, don't care about it. If I say, in the past, let's talking, by the way, I started a podcast and there's no questions about it. There's no interest about it. There is no inquiring, I'm thinking, okay, next week I say, you know what, I'm thinking about going to school to get a particular degree in this, or I'm starting a training, and there's no inquiring in that, nothing about what you're doing, and it's all about the typical mundane hi, hello, and whatever it is. Then we're done. You're doing good. I'm doing good. You stay blessed. I see you soon, and that's it. So I find that um, this is a space for me to really do some legwork and groundwork, with a network who definitely supports me, help to see me grow, and put out what I believe is valuable information. So whenever you spend 5 minutes here, it should mean something. Whenever you spend 10 minutes here, it should mean even more. You spend half an hour here, you should say, man, this is some heavy stuff here. So walk away feeling like I've eaten some real good food. Now I'm going to digest it. All right. And now I'm going to utilize this energy and I'm going to take action. All right. That's the idea. But your circle, your currency.
The next level, the next level, the, the next level, the next level with Keith.
Hey, so how we doing? Are you having fun? Are you having fun or what? Are you feeling this segment or not? Remember, I need your comment. That's how I know, right? So I welcome every comment, even if it's something that you think needs improvement, something that you want to think I should add to the show. I welcome all of that. All right. So as we look at your circle, your currency, let's talk about mentorship. Oh, that's a big one. And if you watch my shows, you probably hear me say that a whole lot. Mentorship is very important. A lot of people say, I don't need help. All right. A lot of folks say that. I've said it before. And There are times when I've said it when I really didn't need it. The only problem is that I've said it before when I needed it, and sometimes I didn't know I needed it. I just thought I didn't need it. But at the end of the day, I promote honesty. I promote being authentic, and sometimes it's just the moment of what it is and how you felt and what it is. But sometimes after rethinking and rehashing, you're like, you know what? I think I caught this too fast. I think I ended this potential too early. I think I didn't listen long enough or wait long enough. And this is where we can do the rethinking, because what happened last year or 2 years ago or last month, maybe this month can be very different. All right, opposed to what we adjust, thinking, right? As it says, when it comes to our circle, that's a heartbeat of what's going to affect how we think, who speak to us, who encourages us, who try to build us up, right? And even those who criticize us constructively, because sometimes we do need that constructive criticism, all right, to kind of give us a little boost, to kind of ruffle our feathers a bit, so to speak, right? So we can just make those little adjustments. But a lot of people say I don't need help. Are you one of those people? All right. But here's the truth. Here's the truth. Guidance shortens mistakes. Sometimes you can avoid weeks, months, sometimes even years with guidance. Community accelerates confidence. So again, as you see and join me here on the next level with Keith, you could see that it's a network that's happening here. All right. And a network should show you that there's some stability, there is community. All right. Not some lone soldier out there. Many people join things, no name on it, just looks good, comes out, automated, it's fun. You don't know who's the owner, where the person resides, what's the basis of this thing, who's behind it, track record, nothing. It just looks good, and we jump. But after seeing a community operate for a while, then that all to make you think, there's some stability there. There's some growth there. There's some that's there that's worth looking into and possibly being a part of. And also accountability increases follow through. All right. So a lot of you, and I'm guilty of that, sometimes afraid of accountability because it demands something of us. And many of us don't want to just say something and not do it. Many of us don't want to seem as if we just so unreliable, right? We want to know that, listen to me, we are thinking, reasonable, honest adults who can look at something, you know, have accountability and just follow through with it. And so a lot of people, they kind of don't want to even start the process because of the fear of being accountable. You know what I mean? But I say start in small steps. All right. And like I said, many of you are silent supporters. And after a while, you became more visible with maybe a text, all right, maybe a message you sent, and you're now exposing who you are a little more, all right, and eventually maybe a comment of saying, let me know this, tell me this, or what is that? It could be a question because the question means that now you want an answer. So, although it's nice to hear the compliment and to hear the accolades, how you feeling, but it's okay to ask a question. I mean, there's no contract being waived that you have to sign your life away and said, "Oh my God, what have I done?" No, 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 no. It's nothing like that. All right. I crave your engagement. All right, because I think it's the start of where things really happen. Right, engagement. So We want to talk about some common mistakes that folks sometimes make common mistakes. Um, People join opportunities, then disconnect from the mentor. All right, they join, then disconnect from the mentor. Now, I realize that there are folks sometimes, and I've experienced in my own personal experience, that there are folks who don't know how to connect the mentor. They're not sure how to approach it. And I've struggled in that area. And I remember when I was younger, young little boy, and I was sometime getting help from my bigger brother, all right, how to do math. And I was not getting the math very quickly. It was coming on, I was learning very slow as far as the math problems. And I would hear things like, well, it's not important. The point is that they weren't encouraging, they weren't enthusiastical, they weren't confidence building words, right? They weren't words to make you feel like, yeah, I could do this. It was like, you know what? I think I have a problem here because I'm not getting it, and this person just not able to give it to me. All right. And I look at that and I remember even being older and I'm taking the husband and wife driving because she wants to learn because she said her husband has no patience. He gets in the car with her and all hell break loose. And she's like, I can't do this. And I take the same person in the car. And it's like, man, what a difference. I'm relaxed, calm. They feel more confident. They feel more, they feel more emboldened to do what they need to do. And I'm hearing after the test, oh, I passed. I passed. Thank you. So the point is that sometimes the connection with a mentor, it may come over time. Sometimes it may be a style thing going on there, and sometimes it's just finding that happy medium, all right? But I would say not give up on that. And I myself is working on where I want to be more deliberate in engagement. Sometimes it's because for me, I don't have, I'll call it, I mean, I have the overall idea how to really narrow it down, and I want to make it more clearer in my mind or clearer in how I want to approach it. But because sometimes I don't have that so locked in, I'm like, I don't know if I want to go ask a mentor yet. I want to get it more. You know what I mean? Like some people say, well, but before they go to church, they're like, I need to have a church outfit. I need to have this first. When the church is saying, no, come as you are. If you have jeans, come with your jeans. You have shorts, come with your shorts. But you're thinking, no, 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 no. I know what you mean, but I need to get my dress first. So I got to work a job, get my extra money, go buy a couple of dresses. So when it could have start going to that church 2 3 months ago, working to try to find money to buy several dresses because you can't wear the same dress every Sunday. So even though you're planning, it may be okay, but the church is saying, hey, come as you are, right? So I'm learning that too. So when I stand here and I talk about certain things, I do wrestle with some of these same issues like you have, like you do. I don't stand here as I know it all. I got no, that's not the point. Sometimes I have some tough session with my coach. It's not always just whatever. Sometimes I kind of feel like I'm a bit almost confrontational sometimes. Maybe I come across that way or defensive or that kind of thing. But I think every time I move towards that kind of approach, I always walk away more empowered, learn more, I understand more, and I think I make better adjustments moving forward. So it's not always easy, but it's worth it, and it's something that we should definitely um um uh push to happen. All right. So we talk about people disconnect from the mentor. They disconnect from the trainings or what's put in place for them to follow. Sometimes it's minimal, and sometimes they disconnect from the community and disconnect from the conversation. So now, of course, you left out there like a duck with their, you know what, in the air. You know what I'm saying? You left open. All right. And so you want to necessarily close those gaps by doing these things. You want to what? Don't disconnect from your mentor. You want to what? Pay attention to those little activities, those trainings. Uh, Look at the importance of the community, what it is. And there are people also who love community and they're drawn to it, but they're fearful because of maybe previous experience you've had, with other communities and so on. So I get all of that. It's really is a ongoing, I would say, learning and wanting to break those barriers because sometimes people do things because of, you know, or don't do things because of trauma, what they've gone through. So I want to let you know that I'm aware that those things can be a factor. All right. I gotta be at least aware and be mindful that you may have a different time where you break those barriers from your own, from your own, um, uh, for your own approach, right? You want to be able to break those barriers because only you know, what they are and how they affect you. I can only encourage you and hopefully enlighten you, and you may see the importance of you making those intentional steps to actually, to get that next level by doing those activities. Very, very important. So here are some practical moves, all right, that you can look into. Let's talk about things that you do that can take away. No, let's talk about some things that we can do as far as practicality. And we can start this week. We can start this week, by the way, with that. Reconnect with your mentor. Ask one real question. Attend one training. Follow up with one person. Momentum often begins with reconnection. Today was a day where I decided to meet with my mentor, all right, with someone who has a lot of experience. And I knew today was going to be a holiday, all right, because sometimes during the day, based on the time, I didn't want it to be, just a few minutes in and out. I want it to be meaningful. And I figured it may require some time, you know, and so I kind of reached out and I uh, booked the time, and it was a really good day, good morning for me because just by making that one move, so much came out of that meeting, so much insight took place. I got some new insights, and I'm like, wow. I mean, and so I highly encourage that. Do I need to do it more often? Yes, and I plan to do more often as well. But it was very, very powerful what came out just by meeting and asking some questions and trying to see where things were and probe and hear different perspective and adapt new things, and it was very, very cool. I really, really was very happy with the outcome of it. And yes, I was challenged to do some things. Yes, it wasn't all fun and games. I'm now let myself know that I need to be more comfortable with some other things. All right, I got to be more deliberate in some things. So I'm growing. I'm also like you, not stopping and not not defeating the potential of what I see by giving up and not pushing. You know what I mean? So it was a really good day. So, looking at what we call one of my favorite sections to talk about or things to talk about is money and how it moves. Mobile money moves. I'll tell you, you know, a lot of people make sound like money is not important and they downplay it sometimes. But think about it. Look how many hours we spend working for it, going to school for it, all right, working two jobs for it, trying to pay the lottery ticket for it, all right, gambling different ways for it. I mean, you think about it. I mean, it's crazy. But I talk about different things that I share, even on my platform in my hubs, and I look at money because think about money in this sense. You have money in the bank. How does it move? I give an example. There's a lady I know who pretty had a lot of money in her account. All right, over $100,000 in several accounts. She had money, no issue at all, and she was always getting her card compromised. Always her card's always getting locked up, and she would use her card and it's blocked, or she find that it's been compromised. And after doing some research, she almost lost over $40,000. They keep hitting her bank and hitting her card and hitting her thing. Money was moving under her nose, and she just was having so much difficulty with that. And one day I say to her, why don't you just get another checking account? Don't use your account with those big numbers inside of it, with a big amount in there. Want to get a checking account and transfer money from your savings into this account as you go about using it. You want to buy something for $500, just move the money from there into there and then buy the thing. So you keep that account low. It took about maybe almost a year to do that. When she finally did it, a lot changed. A whole lot changed for her. As far as she's not having an issue anymore, having a card blocked or losing money, getting an account compromised, getting ripped off by whether it was on the inside job or the outside job or both. But she made one adjustment and she watched her money move differently. All right. So mobile money moves is many, many different ways we can look at it. One of the ways that I stress here is that there is a passive way we can earn. And when it's passive, it doesn't mean no engagement. It means that it's as such where you're not burdened, it's not burdensome, it's not overwhelming, it's not demanding of your time where you leave a job and go into another job like that. It's not that kind of a stress. All right. And you can have money come to you. You can create money. You can create a solid income, right? By just attaching to the right system, the right, the right network. All right. And so again, with certain research and certain deliberate intentional approach, then these things were curated for the listener, for those who may be looking or curious. All right. That's what it's for. So let's get practical looking at money, mobile money moves. Uh, your phone is a perfect example. And look at what you can do with your phone. Right? Look at what you can do with your phone. I saw a video recently about be careful using your card. You have a debit card or credit card at like the gas pumps or certain stores or even the machines. They're saying if you can use this the scan, just tap your phone on it. Some people use their Google Pay, right? And they don't put their card, they tap it. It's safer, right? You're moving money, but sometimes because of the different scams and how phones are getting sophisticated now, you want to use your card differently and a lot more infrequently, all right? And and that way that can help you to avoid getting scammed, getting the money moved out of your account to where it's not supposed to go, into the wrong hands, right? So yes, so it's a very important part of how we look at our phones and what we can do with it, or we can earn with it. All right. So the phone can be a classroom. You can learn on your phone. You can do course on your phone. All right. It's like an office. All right. You can answer call. You can take call. You can send messages. You can do all those things on your phone. You can network. All right. Many people who reach out to me is from their phone. Even overseas, it's on their phone. All right. It's not on the computer. It's on their phone. And more and more people are using their phones for just about everything. All right. So it can be a major income center for you. All right. Because of how it is and what is it is capable of doing. So look at five smart moves you can add to your, I would say, your repertoire or add to your approach as you go to the next level. All right. Track your income and expenses. That's a good way to start. All right. Track your income and expenses. Do it for a month. See what happens. Separate business and personal accounts. That's a very important thing. Learn basic tax awareness early. That's very important. Use free AI and automation tools. That's a good thing as well. And reinvest small wins strategically. Now, think about all these that I mentioned here, and think about having a network that can help you to have these, you know, implemented more effectively. All right, where you would save time in doing so, right? Because you would have more of a direction, and you can get your points and your ideas more fine-tuned and looked at, right, and unearthed, so to speak. And it can definitely change your outlook. I really believe that. Um, all right. You know, there's an old saying, reality check, right? When it comes down to it, reality is reality. We live in the real world, all right? And we cannot ignore that. AI and digital systems are reducing startup barriers faster than ever before. A lot of issues that people had before, barriers and roadblocks, because of AI, is removing those barriers. So you have an advantage at your hand. That's why I said you don't wait around, right? Because it's here for you to use. And that's very important. Now, what once required offices and teams and a lot of expensive equipments, right, can now be done from a smartphone. I'm telling you, it's amazing how much people I've dealt with, connected with, use my services just by the phone, just on the phone. I mean, for the last number of years, it has really pretty much been my office, my moving office. All right. I do just about everything on that phone. Even my events. I bought an iPad for my music events, and I find that my phone is being more of a tool that I use now. It's so weird, right? Yeah, but it just really works nice. So at the end of all of this conversation here on this podcast, as I mentioned earlier in the show, all right, this is the ending of season one. Yes, end of season one. I'm so excited, and I feel like I'm getting started. I'm getting warmed up. All right, for the next season. All right, the thing I want to really emphasize is taking action. You gotta take action. All right. So here's your assignment for this week, or it could be when you feel you can do it. Right. It may not be this week per se, but it could be something that you consider. Right, when you really want to do it. You want to ask yourself these questions. um, before you actually get into this area of take of this activity. So you don't want to just evaluate opportunities on an emotional level only, right? You don't want to just make the emotional part of you evaluating something the main thing because emotions is all over the place. It can up and down. It's here or there, right? You start evaluating them strategically, some direction, some approach. If the approach doesn't work, try another approach. Modify the approach, but have some approach. So you want to ask yourself this: have I truly engaged? And many of us could probably say, honestly, no, I have not. It's important. You want to ask, have I stayed consistent? It's important to ask. Have I followed through? Not important question. Have I asked enough questions? Oh, that's a big one. Or did I emotionally disconnect too early? All right. So this shifts the accountability. All right. Because sometimes the opportunity isn't failing. Sometimes it's the engagement that's needed that's not being given. All right. So let's look at the engagement challenge here. All right. I think it's next 5 days. Here it is. Day one, write down one opportunity you disconnected from. Write down one opportunity you disconnected from. Day two, identify why you pulled back. You write it down. Day three, reach out and ask one question. Day four, spend 30 minutes learning something new. And day five, take one consistent action toward growth. All right. I think we should reach for that. All right. And I think that we'll see something emerges as accountability takes, takes precedence here. Now, here are my final thoughts. The next decade belongs to people who what? Stay adaptable, stay engaged, and stay consistent long enough to compound results. Guess what? AI is changing everything. Opportunities are evolving faster than ever. And what once seemed impossible is now available from your pocket. So don't quit. All right. Don't quit before momentum has time to recognize your name because your breakthrough might be hiding behind the consistency you almost abandoned. So remember those uh those activity that you want to engage in next 5 days. Remember, one is this: write down one opportunity you disconnected from. All right. Identify, that's day two. Identify why you pulled back. Day three, reach out and ask one question. Day four, spend 30 minutes learning something new. And day five, take one consistent action toward growth. And as I say, this segment here is the ending of season one. And again, I want to thank you for walking me on this journey of 21 episodes. Thank you for your comments, your likes. Thank you for your engagement, however small or large. And I'm looking forward to some real nice surprises coming up in section episode and season two. All right. And look for some little surprises here. I'm telling you because I don't believe in being stuck in one mode. I believe in variety here. All right. So again, thank you, engineer, mentor. Thank you for just always showing up and showing out and making me look good. And for you who are silent, I would say silent supporters. I know you're there, but I thank you as well. So again, my name is Keith, and let me say welcome in advance to season two with the next level with Keith. You stay blessed, take care of yourself, and I'll see you on my next episode, season two, next week, Monday. Take care and God bless.
If today's episode spoke to you, it's because you're ready. Ready for your money to work for you. Ready for practical steps, not just motivation. Ready for faith-led financial freedom. Ready to build stability, peace, and confidence for your family. You're not alone on this journey. The Next Level isn't just a podcast. It's a movement toward freedom, one episode at a time. Stay connected. Listen anytime at podcast.keithmerritt.com. Explore the Next Level Movement Hub. Subscribe on YouTube at Keith Merritt. Like, share, comment. Your engagement helps this message reach more families. Take your next step. Visit keithmerritt.com/impact/the next level. Subscribe for the latest blog from the Freedom Resource Hub and join the Next Level Resource Network. Choose the hub that fits your journey: music and speaking, family protection, digital learning, passive income, or Keith's book and reading hub. Press play. Take action. Your next level is calling.